This is Varun Dutt from IIT Mandi, and we'll be continuing our journey on the Large Applications Practicum course, particularly looking at Unified Modeling Language and the use of Umbrello. Let's get started. One other diagram which is very useful for understanding the dynamics of interaction in a class or dynamics of interaction during the code execution between objects is called a sequence diagram. So sequence diagram shows the message exchange particularly, that is the method calls between several objects which belong to classes in specific time delimited situation. Sequence diagrams put special emphasis in order and the times in which the messages to the objects are sent. So key features of sequence diagrams include objects are represented through vertical dashed lines with the name of the object on the top, and the time axis is also vertical, increasing downwards so that messages are sent from one object to another in the form of arrows with the operation and parameter names. So messages can either be synchronous, where control is passed to called object until that method has finished running, or asynchronous, where the control is passed back directly to the calling object. So let's take an example. Here is a sequence diagram between customer, user interface, and checking account. So this is the same ATM example. And as you can see, these are the three objects: customer of the customer class, user interface for the ATM class, and checking account for the checking account class. And the first is requesting the withdrawal, the customer requesting withdrawals to the user ATM class object. And then the user ATM class presents the customer with different options. Then the customer indicates the amount and the account is to be used. And then the ATM class will check the balance and status of the account. It will return authorization, whether authorized to transact or not. It will debit $300. It will dispense the cash to the customer, and then it will request the receipt. The customer will request the receipt and it will print the receipt. So this set of steps, the 9 steps, happened in the sequence in a time-bound manner, and you can also see the exchange of messages between different objects. So we have already seen how to make use of Umbrello, and there are other such tools like Umbrello also available. Some of them paid, like Rational Rows, Together Soft, and Argo UML. And Umbrello is one open source tool which has nice integration with C++ and Java, including Python and other programming languages. And here we are looking at Umbrello. So you have already seen we can download Umbrello from this link from the Google in my previous lecture. And this is how the interface of Umbrello looks like. You have the tree view, you have the documentation window and the work area. And last lecture we have already looked at how to create UML use case diagram as well as class diagram using Umbrello. So this is another example of a class diagram where we have a header and we have a body, and they are composing to a request. So basically idea is that a request consists of a header and body in particular computer networks, and if the request doesn't exist, header and body will cease to exist. At the same time, there can be one request to a server, but one server can make 0 or many requests. And here there is an association in terms of that if the server ceases to exist, request may still exist. So this type of diagram can be created in UML, Umbrello, using the concepts which I have just covered with you in the last lecture. So these are some of the steps to do it. You can choose new model like we had discussed, and you can start a particular diagram. You can save your model, which is in the XMI file, and you can also load your model. And these are the references which we use to create this lecture, including the reference on Umbrello. And now we move to the activity. So in this particular activity, the idea is to create the account number, password, and basically bank account classes, define some data members of those classes, and then create a person class with the bank account class. And the person class can query balance, withdraw cash, and deposit cash, which are really the operations which can be performed. And also we can, once we have created these classes, we can generate the code using the code generation wizard, in Umbrello, and we can save the file in XMI. Also, we can extend the code by creating a class balance as an aggregation of bank account, and then we can create generalization to the bank account using current account and saving account. You can modify the bank account and person classes, such as one would now accomplish the functionality of querying balance, withdrawing, and cash deposits from the person class in the modified design. We can again generate the course using Umbrello. So this scan activity, please try it out using Umbrello, and we will take a look at it in the next lecture. More advanced concepts using Umbrello. Thank you.